Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Collector Chatter podcast. This is episode 26. And this episode is going to be just a weekly roundup of the news and rumors of the past week, which was March 7th to March 13th. So we're just going to give you a quick, just talk about the news, everything that happened, Charlie. So I'm Miguel, your co-host Charlie as well is here with me. And let's just get into some of the Funko news and what happened in the past week. I personally think it was a pretty good
It was a great
amount of
week.
stuff. There was a lot of cool stuff that came out, right?
Yes.
So what was one of the first things that kind
First
of
thing
like
that pops in my
caught
head
your
is
mind?
finally we have Star Wars sodas. They
Yes.
showed off a Boba Fett one and a Luke Skywalker one, which I mean, they're both awesome. I wish the Luke Skywalker chase may be a little different. It is from my favorite movie, so it's him from Empire Strikes Back. And honestly, I think the common is better with his lightsaber. The other one has his hand chopped off, which is a cool, iconic scene. But like, I honestly didn't even realize that's what it was when it was first
Yeah, me
like
neither.
announced. I thought he was holding a blaster, which I thought was super weird. And then I'm like, oh no, wait, his hand is chopped off, which is cool. But I think they could have done better. But at the same time, maybe we'll just get another Luke Skywalker. Like part of me was like, why couldn't we get like the chase be him as like the Jedi Master that's in Return of the Jedi and like what you see in the Mandalorian? But they'll
Yeah.
probably just make another one like that.
Yeah. Cause and I always find it this one specifically too. So we always talk about this with sodas and the chases and stuff, and like, why don't they do this or why don't they switch up the show or the movie or whatever? And I feel like they generally don't like they try to keep it in the same
They
movie or the same
do.
like if it has a series, they won't do like a different version. Like they'll just keep it like the same exact thing and then change like
Which I don't
not even an
get,
outfit or something.
but but it must be just because there's no way they're not going to make a Luke Skywalker soda from him with his cloak and green lightsaber. So we'll just have to
Yeah.
wait again. But I wish they
Yeah.
just that's what would make the chases a little better. But we talk about that all the time. But the one thing that was really cool is they have a stand on them. So
Yeah.
they're going just like the Star Wars Pops, and it says on the can they're bobblehead.
Yeah, so that was another thing. So it released right away, and right the first thing I noticed, I did notice the stand. So you get the actual little platform stand that they're on, which is just like the pops, which is pretty cool because as a soda figure, like that's cool, like to see. Now it makes me think like, is that the exact same size of the can? Is it gonna fit on the lid like you do with these like soda top things that a lot of people are making to actually display it? Like, is that essentially now a soda topper thing that you can just place right on the
Which
can?
would be
Like,
smart.
yeah, because you haven't seen it. We only seen the picture, so we don't know. And it does say someone zoomed in on the can and it says bobblehead, which is very interesting because as you guys know, if you don't, obviously all Star Wars and Marvel, they're both the same when it comes to Funko products. They're bobblehead figures, which I know we talked about before, meaning it was probably because of the whole Hasbro licensing and everything.
Yep.
But it is interesting that these say bobblehead because we've only seen a picture. We didn't see like the actual version, and we don't know if they actually do bobble. They could because they do make mystery mini bobbles. I know the Marvel ones and Star Wars ones, those actually bobble. So it could work. It'll be cool though because sodas do not. Like even the Marvel ones don't.
Yeah,
So
I think this is
when I saw
gonna
this, it was weird that it said that.
yeah, I think if it does bobble and then with the stand, I think this is gonna bring the sodas, which they won't change it for everything, but I think it's gonna be a much cooler, collectible piece having all of that because they already have a body that lends to a bobblehead where like Funko
Yeah.
Pops normally don't. Like I feel like the bobbles are awkward. And sometimes if you are an out of box collector, you take it out of the box and they can't even stand some of them because they're so top heavy with the bobblehead.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting. And then
Yeah.
the Boba Fett one, that another like it's a better chase, but I still think it's kind of lazy. The common one is him in his normal armor, and then the chase is the prototype, which is he never actually wore it. It was just like legitimately what the first design looked like when Star Wars was being made, which is cool
Yeah.
that they make that in a pop. So they kind of are continuing with what we said before. Like they're making the sodas mimic what a lot of the pop designs already have. And then they added that to a chase because legitimately both of those Luke Skywalker pops exist too.
Yeah. I was gonna say they're definitely, at least with Star Wars, they're I mean, I guess maybe because there's so many out already that it was a little hard for them to do something completely original or new. But yeah, they totally mimic both of those. I think they're cool. I was surprised though that the first two announced are those, like
I
Luke
was
for
just
sure.
about to say
I
that.
thought it would have been Darth Vader and Luke. Honestly, that's what I thought 1 and 2 would have been before Boba Fett. But I mean, I guess that kind of shows you, like we've talked about this before, like Boba Fett's obviously become this big, popular character, and then obviously the show came out. It's like maybe that's kind of why. So it's interesting. But to me, I would have thought Darth Vader across the board, whether you're a hardcore Star Wars fan or not, probably would have been more popular. That's just what I feel
I
like. Or
completely agree
maybe
with you.
Yoda or something.
I'm surprised. It's funny. I'm not surprised by the Boba Fett, actually. I'm surprised about Luke Skywalker,
Yeah.
who is one of my favorite characters, but I just would assume they would have started off with, characters that, wasn't just like a face of a person, where
Mhm.
that's where you totally have Vader and Boba Fett. So yeah, I agree. I'm surprised. It was like a pleasant surprise to see the Luke one. I'm assuming we're gonna get the Vader next. I know there's been rumors. I'm actually surprised they announced these when these did. I would have bet money that the first ones were gonna be like Celebration exclusives, which I'm assuming that's what Vader will be.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. That's why they're holding off to him, because these aren't like numbered. So technically, these may not be the first ones that they actually
They
made. It's
come
just
out.
the first ones they're showing us.
Yep.
So it could totally be something that we see afterwards with a different one. But yeah, overall, the fact that we finally got Star Wars sodas has obviously been a big deal. We've talked about it a lot. We rumored it for a while, and it obviously came true. And it's something we didn't think was going to come true initially, but
No.
it did. And as a Star Wars collector, that's going to be a huge whole nother genre of people that if they never had sodas, this will hopefully get some more people into sodas, for sure. So that was a really cool one. Another one, just to kind of stick with the sodas, I guess we could say, we have a PX exclusive Japanese TV Spider-Man soda, which was interesting that they got it. It looks pretty cool. It's
It
like,
does.
it's still kind of like that plain, like looking, Spider-Man, not doing too much. I think he only has like his arms crossed, and he has
Yeah,
like
it's
some type of thing around his like
yeah,
wrist or
it's like his
something. It's
web
like a
shooters, I think, from the Japanese show. I mean, I have this
yeah.
pop, which I thought it was cool when the pop came out, but this is super random to have made this into a soda, in my opinion. When I saw it, I was like, what? And you're right, like it's still not exciting. I know I loved the original Spider-Man soda, but I think it was just because like I wanted a Spider-Man one. Now
Yeah.
you're making another one already, and it looks almost exactly the same in terms of like not a fun
Yeah, like
pose.
the face and the pose and everything looks
And
like the,
like
the
I
exact
mean,
same.
I don't the Japanese series, like it's not that big of a deal to like the pop was cool. It's like, okay, we have it. It was like there's tons of Spider-Man pops. But now the second Spider-Man soda being that is just bizarre.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. The fact that it's the second one. Like we have other versions of Spider-Man. We have Miles Morales, for instance, even that like could have been
Yeah,
done first, and instead we got this, which is interesting. But it is a PX exclusive, which makes sense because that's like
I agree.
the comic
The
shops.
pop
That's
was
like
too.
that style. Yeah, so that fits. So I get it. It just was an interesting thing that it's like the next one up after we got the finally got a Spider-Man, which was the No Way Home one, I think is the actual, yeah, No Way Home is the
Yep.
actual Spider-Man that we currently had. But that was just like another soda that we found that we were able to get. And then last soda that was pretty exciting as well is the Stone Cold Steve Austin one,
Yeah.
which that is pretty cool. And we've rumored that as well. That was something that was going to be coming out. This I'm trying to double check now in my mind. Yes, it is the only WWE soda
Yeah, there isn't
currently
any. Yep.
that is out. So it's going to be the first one out. Famous Stone Cold Steve Austin. I mean, everyone pretty much knows him. And it's a pretty cool one. He's got a belt. The chase
I
is him with
agree.
the belt, which makes sense. The other one, he's just got kind of like this fist. So pretty cool, pretty basic, nothing crazy. He wasn't like, the craziest looking guy. He just had the
Yep.
leather vest,
Vest.
and he's got the belt on. But if
316,
you're a
yeah.
wrestling fan and like even at all know anything about Stone Cold Steve Austin, it's definitely a cool one. All his pops are pretty popular. I know they had like the 7-Eleven exclusive, I think was one of them that was
Yeah,
pretty
so
popular, which was random. But it's cool that it's now transitioned to sodas, which is going to make us think like now we got Star Wars sodas, now we got WWE sodas. Like we're getting, what's cool is I'm hoping that transitions to some more sports, because that's technically the first like sports related soda. So I
yeah, I
wonder if
feel like we
they'll
have to
come out
get
with some other
sports
ones.
ones. Like it just makes logical sense as the next thing they jump into.
Yeah, so that'll be definitely pretty exciting. But then there was a line that is being release, which I know you're probably excited about this, I'm assuming,
Yes.
and it's the Rugrats line.
Yep.
But now is this because I know they redid or are redoing the Rugrats, right? Like
There is a reboot right now. It's though,
there's a current reboot, right?
yeah,
Like
but I think these are
animation's different, everything.
it's
Are
like
these more the OG ones or is this like that
I
new
think
one?
it's the OG still.
Okay.
Even though I mean the show is basically it's just a little bit modernized and it's like CGI instead of
Yeah, the
original
CGI,
2D
the
animation.
animation is different. Yeah.
But I'm going with these for the original.
Yeah. So it was interesting that it's not like an anniversary or anything, right? It's just kind of out of nowhere
No,
that they
yeah,
dropped
just
this
they're
line.
just yeah, I agree. It is out of nowhere, but they
Yes.
look pretty cool. Though they could have. I think Susie's the only character that's new.
Okay. Yeah, that
They
hasn't
have
been
made
the Phil
before.
and Lil 2-pack is pretty cool.
Oh,
I
that
thought
is
that
cool.
was
You
really
know what?
awesome.
That may be new. They may not have Pops either. That's an Amazon exclusive. But then you
Yeah.
have Angelica, Chucky, and Tommy, and they're
Yeah.
all like. I mean, the original ones though, they're at the point where Funko still didn't, make their Pops more detailed, so they are
Yeah.
drastically different. But they're not that different where it's like they needed an update, but
Mhm.
they're still pretty cool. Tommy has a chase, which it seems like every new line that's coming out, like so many, they're bringing the chases back. I think pretty hardcore in the Pops because I
Now,
think
yeah.
because of sodas, in my opinion, they
Yeah, it
used
could
to
be
be
because
super rare. In my like,
yeah.
unless yeah,
Now more, yeah, now more actual characters in a line. It's not just like one from a line of 6 or 7, one would have a chase. Now you're getting 2, 3 that have chase options. Like we even saw it with the Batman. 2 of the pops had chase
exactly.
options, you know. So it's like it is interesting. But yeah, the Rugrats ones are cool. I actually have the original Tommy and oh my god, just
Chucky.
and Chucky. Yeah. So I have the original Chucky and Tommy. And like a funny thing that the Tommy I have, he's in box. I got him kind of later on. The Chucky I've had for a really long time. Chucky was actually one of my first few handful of pops as well, like randomly, because he was always my favorite character in the
Yep.
cartoon. And like a fun, just random side story thing about that is when I used to work. So I used to worked for Yelp for a little while, and I had that one as a desk piece with a couple other random pops. And at some point, I don't know how this happened, but one of the managers grabbed it. And basically, when our like area would hit like a goal that we had to hit for the like whoever got the sale that got us to the daily number that we needed, in a group of like 100 people would get to take a picture with the Tom. She took it from me to take a picture with the Tommy pop, and then like they get to hold it until the next day when someone else got it. And I remember that happening, and I was like, okay, whatever. And then when I left the company, I like made sure I was like, I need to get that back because it's like mine. And I remember getting it, and like now I have him. He's down there somewhere
That
in
is
this like
so
out of
random.
box. But how funny is that? It was so weird. And I just remember it because I was like, I need that Tommy. I definitely love the Tommy. I wish I still had his box. He has a pretty decent value, those old ones.
No, they do.
But yeah, he was my favorite from the actual cartoon. So I definitely grabbed it. But then we also had another awesome line, which was a show that I was very into, and I told you about it. I know you were looking to get into it, and now you finished it as well. And it's the Peacemaker,
Yeah.
which
That's what I thought you were going to bring up before the
yeah,
Rugrats.
no,
I'm
that one I was
pumped
waiting
for
for.
these. I mean,
Yeah.
I talked about it last episode when we were talking about the WonderCon, and I was like, dude, Peacemaker
Yep.
Pops need to be on their way. I was shocked they were that quick, legitimately a week later. And these are awesome. I mean, all of them. They have
Mhm.
Peacemaker just in his underwear from like the scene in
Yeah.
the first episode. He has one with Eagly hugging him. They have Eagly, which is like an American flag. And then it's funny,
And
like
flocked too.
yeah, and the
The
flocked
Eagles
one,
flocked.
Amazon exclusive, which that looks
Yeah.
awesome. I definitely need to get that. And then I'm not surprised, like then the other characters they made were Vigilante,
Yep.
and the
Judo master.
yeah, Juno Master, which all the masked heroes, they didn't make any of the like, normal
Yeah.
characters, which I'm assuming they'll come down the line if this line does well. But I think
Yeah.
they picked the perfect characters to make the first like wave of this show.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's one of the things that has kind of like steered me away from some shows that when they drop the lines, they drop every single character.
Which Marvel
And
does.
yeah, like with Marvel specifically, let's say, right? And it's like I get that like you can because they exist, but I would rather it be broken up into like actual waves. I feel like Funko a long time ago, like waves was a big thing. Like you got wave one, it had like 5 pops, and then there was a wave two, and it had a few other ones. And then now I feel like they just try to like inundate us with like everything that came out from that show or movie, and it gets a little too overwhelming because then you maybe don't pick them all up, or you feel like there's too many and you skip on other shows and stuff that come out. So I like that this one was to me the main people, which you're going to
Yep.
recognize, because yeah, you're going to recognize them by their outfits, and they made them really cool. They look just like them. I thought they were perfect. And like, even if they don't come out with the other ones, like if they don't come out with
I don't need
the
them.
girls and stuff, you don't, yeah, like those, the regular, yeah, you don't really need them. I think these were the most, maybe his dad, I guess, could be like a character they come out
Yep.
with that could be like a con exclusive. That would be a pretty cool one,
That would
something
be a
like
cool
that.
one.
But otherwise, yeah, yep, I'm happy with what they got. Eagly was awesome. The fact that they made one of those, so at
Yeah,
least
I
they
have to
have
say
that, and then
that's
they
the one
have
I
the
wanted.
flocked version, so that one's cool. But yeah, it's a cool line. If you guys haven't checked it out, Peacemaker is hilarious. It was a really, really good show, and I think it was pretty popular. But I was surprised. I actually was a little surprised that they came out with the pops. I wanted them to, but I didn't know they would. And if they did, I know Peacemaker himself had one in Suicide Squad, but I didn't think they would actually do it based off the sideshow. And I was kind of surprised. So, but it was a
Yeah,
good surprise.
a great surprise. And it's funny because James Gunn tweeted like James Gunn is pretty interactive on social media and he's a fan. Like, I feel like whenever something he's involved with and Funko's come out with it, he like
Mhm.
talks about it on social. Like he has them in his house or whatever. And he actually tweeted like, "You asked for it, Funko delivered." And like Funko then immediately tweeted is like, "Yeah, we did," or whatever. Um, Obviously there's no way they turned them around that quickly, but
Yeah,
it's pretty, yeah, it is pretty cool that they came out with these.
it does make me think about like that specifically makes it like with that and with the
Squid Games.
Squid Games. Yes, exactly. That makes me think like how fast can they do these lines, or how much are they planned? Because if it's that a planned thing and they've been doing it for a while, like do they shelve things that flop, or do they still continue to drop it because they already had it built? You know what I'm saying? Because
No,
like
yeah,
I
that's a good
wonder if it's like
question.
something is hot and they could just kind of, because all in
I don't
all,
know when these are
probably a lot
coming
of
out
these,
either. Sorry,
yeah, that's
not to
another thing.
interrupt you. So
But we're still getting like actual pictures, the molds exist. And I feel like for the most part, a Funko Pop is probably one of a handful of molds to start with, right? And then they
yep.
kind of work from there. So like maybe that makes it a little easier for them. I mean, obviously, if any of you guys know if anyone works for Funko or something or making these things, let us know. But that's an interesting thing that I've always thought about. Like, do they come out with something super fast? The Squid Game ones is the one that's the most interesting because it was so big, it was so popular, but there's no way they knew that show was
No,
going to be
yeah,
that big.
that's what I was
Like
about to
in
say.
general, let alone Funko, to know that it was going to be that big, and then we get the fact that they're coming out with pops like right after. So it's like it makes you think like, are they really that fast at
They
creating these
must have a
things?
team of their designers who, yeah, they're like, we should be making these, or someone's job is probably like looking at, okay, we have I'll just use the DC license and this show became popular. Let's mock these up. It probably is that way because Squid Game, we know it has to be that way because of Squid Game. Like you said, that show was, for all you though don't know, I mean, the creator tried to get that show made for like 10 years.
Yeah,
Everyone just was like, no, I'm never making this show. They didn't think it was going to be popular at all to make collectibles. So that
yeah,
definitely was like, okay, this is the biggest show in the world right now. We need Funko Pops. That's why they're just coming out now. And no
yeah.
one like really, I'm still want them for my collection, but no one's talking about that show anymore.
Yeah, I know. It's weird,
Whereas,
right? When they came
yeah,
out, it was like the hottest thing. We're like, oh my God, they came out with pops.
exactly. Whereas if it was something planned, they would have had it like the Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness pops are going to come out around the movie
Yeah,
and the Batman,
which
for
makes sense.
example.
Yeah, exactly. So it's interesting. So I guess it kind of depends on the lines, but
Yeah, I think it depends.
I feel like we can give them the benefit of the doubt to think that they can kind of probably create something really fast versus like they probably do have some things that they know and they do for a while the license, and they're just kind of
Yes.
building it up. But then what else we had? So we have some more NFT news.
Yes.
So Transformers is the newest wave that we got of NFTs, which will be dropping March 15th, so on Tuesday, which again, that's 11 a.m. Pacific time, 2 p.m. Eastern time. So on the drop site, if you guys have listened to us, you know that we do, we are fans of NFTs. We push NFTs. We let you guys know every time there is a drop. We usually do grab some ourselves. Charlie was, a big NFT collector and has become more. I've kind of been in and out, once in a while type of thing. He's been pulling redeemables for a while until the last drop, which I was lucky enough to pull a redeemable for Nickelodeon ones. But the Transformers ones, it seems like there's a lot of redeemables for this
There
one.
is. I think this is like one of the biggest ones, and it's not like I think the collection's on par with what the Star Trek and the Nickelodeon ones were. Like they're bigger collections than the retro comics or the Bob Ross ones for example.
Yeah.
So there's almost double the amount of NFTs to collect to get the royalty collection, which then yeah, but this I wish I had it pulled up and I forget, but this has a lot of redeemables.
Yeah, I want to say like 6 or so, like,
Yeah.
and then like the
They're
royalty
also
one afterwards too.
changing the way that the packs are released. There's now equal number premium and standard.
Oh wow, okay.
And people think they're going to sell out quicker now.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. So then, because the premiums were always less and they would sell super fast. And then
Yeah.
obviously the standards afterwards. But, we had a little theory that like the premiums were the way to go. And they usually are because you get a handful of more packs and you can get them quicker. But I only was able to get standards and I only got like 2 packs, whatever. And one of the ones I opened had a redeemable. So obviously it could really be random. But I wonder how this line's gonna go. I guess it's pretty popular when you think about it in general, like Transformers, but like with NFT world, like do you think it's
Dude,
gonna be like that big?
I do. I actually been to like some chatter. It sounds like this is going to be one of the most popular drops.
Wow. Okay, so that's
Between
interesting. So
yeah.
because I mean I'm like the original, Transformers and cartoon and all that stuff. Like I like knew I watched a little bit. I don't know too many other characters besides the big main ones. Then the movies obviously came out, and like now I watched the movies. I'm a fan of Michael Bay, so like obviously watched them. But some of these like ones that are redeemables and stuff, like I don't know them. Like
Yeah.
I actually pulled in a mystery box, one pop that was like a Funko Shop exclusive. He's white and red. I don't know. I can't even remember his name,
Yeah.
but his value was like wild. I think I sold it on like an auction or something or on whatnot at one point because I just didn't really know enough of that character. And some of these I don't know too much. Obviously, Optimus Prime, I think, is the royalty, right? It's like
Yeah.
gold,
Yeah, which
which is
looks pretty
obviously
cool.
the most,
But most
well
of them, yeah,
known.
aren't. I don't think, and correct me if I'm wrong, or chat, let us know. But I think he's the only one that has had a pop before that's redeemable. Like I think all the other
Yeah,
Transformers that are redeemables those are new. They've never been made before.
that's what I'm saying. They're all like different characters. Some of them I
Yep.
never even heard of. The only
Yeah.
one that I did know is the Freddy one, which is Bumblebee.
Bumblebee.
But
Yep.
it's Freddy as Bumblebee.
Bumblebee.
So they don't make that as a pop, but they obviously make Bumblebee because I know that. But yeah, besides the Optimus Prime, but I don't know if they make a gold version
Yeah,
like
no,
what that
I don't
royalty
think
one
so.
is. But yeah, all the other ones are different. So I guess like if you're a real big fan of the actual, cartoon and stuff, like this must be a pretty big deal for those collectors, like you said. So yeah, that's coming out on Tuesday. We'll let you know, if we grab any, and I'm sure you'll see kind of like what
Yep.
we pull if we do. And good luck to you guys if you do grab them, and hopefully you do get some redeemables. But like we said before, NFTs are going to be pretty big throughout the year. We're getting them every month essentially now, so we're just looking to see. I'm just waiting for one of those real big IPs to see if we get something that is gonna, be even crazier. But this might be the way into some of those bigger ones, which I think the Nickelodeon was like the start of that, like getting into
It
really
is. The one
popular.
thing that's really interesting to me is so Transformers, it's obviously a Hasbro property, but I know they also have like partnership with Paramount, which also owns, I said this last time, but they're
So
Nickelodeon.
they're part of that.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
they're
said it last time. So but
yep.
now
So
that's
it's
okay. So maybe
crazy.
they just have
Star
that
Trek.
license.
Yeah. which the average person's not going to know this, but it's like, at what point are we going to branch out from that? Because they're running out of
what else is under that umbrella that they can do?
that. I feel like that they can make NFTs for. We'll probably get a SpongeBob one that's all by itself, because it's very
Okay, yeah,
weird. SpongeBob was not in the Nickelodeon.
yeah,
I know a lot of people are
true.
upset about that, but like we've kind of we've hit all the marks of, I feel like, something you would make a collectible out of,
Yeah,
like big IPs.
yeah, because then the Paramount, I think the only other big channel on the Paramount is what, MTV, but they're not gonna
Yeah,
do
not
like
gonna make any
anything
NFTs.
that
But
falls
it
under.
also could just be it's a Hasbro license that Paramount just happens to make the movies of for Transformers. They have nothing to do with each other. It could just be a coincidence. And then
Yeah,
if they have
but it's kind of
Hasbro,
happened the last few times, so it
no,
seems like it
I
really
know,
is
I
going
know.
after that.
But it's just, if they have Hasbro, then we could maybe then get Power Rangers, even though I've heard the Power Ranger license may no longer be at
Oh, they don't have it
Funko.
anymore. Oh,
I've
wow.
heard that rumor because like they don't make anything of it anymore, which I don't know.
Well,
It's
they
not like
did
it.
like the new style. I remember that, and that wasn't too long ago.
They
Like
did it
the
for like
newer
the
movie.
anniversary, like the 25th anniversary, I think. And then they haven't had anything since. I remember someone commented on one of our videos because I made a comment that I really wanted Power Ranger sodas, and someone was
Yeah,
like, "I heard we no longer have the light. I heard Funko no longer has the
yeah,
license."
yeah, yeah. So that's interesting if they really don't, if that's something that's going to kind of hold them back from being able to do Power Rangers. Because yeah, Power Rangers I think would be a big one. That would
Yeah,
be
I think
awesome if they're going
that'd
to
be
do
pretty cool as
Transformers. I see that
NFTs.
kind of, yeah, I totally could see like Power Rangers being a line that totally could be popular. We also got a new pop album. I know we talked about this in a previous episode when we were talking about the music line. We got a Jimi Hendrix.
Yep.
I know he's your favorite pop because they make so many of them.
It's just
We talked about that last
ridiculous.
time. But yeah, just another. I mean, I I'm okay with it in the sense that like if they're gonna make so many Jimi Hendrix pops, like at least make an album one. So at least they make
Which
one.
is true.
It'd
Now
be
they have
different if they
one.
had 2 or 3 albums already. I'd be like, okay, like they did with ACDC, they already duplicated the second one of that. Like I
Yep.
don't think they need to do that. So at least
No.
one is okay. I it's cool. It's yellow. It's very bright. So it's like that one album. So I mean, it is what it
No, it
is.
looks cool.
They make a lot of them, but yeah, it is a new one and it's a Walmart exclusive, which majority of them have been Walmart exclusives now. So
And then
we're
they
seeing a lot of them
announced
coming out.
2-pack of the White Stripes. I
Yes,
saw
another
that,
music.
which
Yep,
that looks
which
pretty
that was
cool.
awesome. Yeah, that makes sense. I actually I remember thinking a while back at one point when I was thinking about like certain bands or certain people that could be in like multi-packs, and I remember thinking of White Stripes. So that's actually cool that they're kind of, they are branching out the music like with
Yeah, they are.
certain bands or individuals that are like not someone you may think of right away, which I like. So I like that line is starting to kind of grow. I know we talked about it when we talked about the music line in general. Then there's another thing. So I don't know if you saw this, the Hall of Armor.
Yeah, I
So
did.
the Iron Man.
That's what I wanted to bring up next. That looks pretty cool.
Yeah, so that's
It
I think that's a PX
it
exclusive, right?
is,
I
which
think
is
some
interesting for they haven't had like they've all been basically Amazon exclusives that are like those builds
yeah.
Funkos. I thought it was interesting that's a PX exclusive. Not that
Yeah, and
they're
they
readily
showed 2 of
available.
them. Yeah, they
Yeah, they
showed
already
2 of them, right?
yeah, which is interesting that they came out
But
with
there's going to be
2 in the beginning.
4. Yeah, and
Yes.
there's going to be 4. But do you have an idea what you think those other ones will be? So is it all Iron Man
It's
that they're
all
going to
Iron
go
Man.
with?
So it's
Okay, so
like,
we have
yeah,
like the OG comic like Iron Man, right? Then we
yep,
have like the one where he's in like the really big
yep, like
suit
the
thing,
dome
whatever, the
one.
armor,
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm
So it's
assuming we'll get something maybe more MCU like
more MCU
for
like,
the
but
other
it's
ones.
obvious, it's clearly comic book like
Yeah,
looking. So they'll just be probably more updated versions of the
an
armor.
updated one, yeah. So they'll do something newer or something. But it seems cool. I don't know if I like like I feel like if it was that, it would have been better and like they did with the Star Wars, where they're like kind of connected side by side versus being these stackable looking ones like the Stranger Things. That's what it looked like the Stranger
Oh,
Things
I
kind of
just
one.
assumed that it would be 3 in a row. I mean 4 in a row.
The picture I saw is 2 on top, 2 on the bottom, and the bottom ones are blank, and the top ones were the ones that they
I didn't
dropped,
even notice that. That's weird because that's
which
not
I
the
think
way
is
it
weird. Yeah,
looks like.
yeah. So I don't know what. Yeah, but even if they're side by side, I guess I don't know. I don't know if I like that whole like build. I remember like not to go off topic completely because it's a little different, but I remember when the graffiti Marvel ones at
Yep.
GameStop came out. I remember thinking, I was like, oh, this is gonna be so sick. And then like after kind of seeing them and the size, and there was so many, and like they didn't really go together anyways. I was
It's
like,
funny. I didn't
I
even
don't know. I don't know
realize
if I like it.
I didn't even realize they connect. I
No,
thought
I
they were
don't
all
think
just,
those.
oh, they don't.
I don't
Okay.
think those do connect. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like I didn't like, because to display them, you were essentially probably were gonna put them next to each other or near each other. But I just didn't. I don't know. I thought it was like a cooler idea when I first thought about it, and that's kind of how I feel about these. Like I feel like it's a cool idea, but then when you look at them, like I
Yeah,
don't
and you
know.
need to like I've thought like totally about this. I do as people know, inbox and out of box certain things. Like you have to take these out of the box. Like there's
Yeah,
just no point in keeping them in. Like they're just not. They just don't look cool then. Like I'm just thinking of the bounty hunter one. I was looking at mine today. I'm like, these need to come out of the box. I need to put them together, and like that's how it needs to be
yeah. The
displayed.
boxes are bigger than the things anyway, so they even look more ridiculous
And then it just
in
looks
the box.
random. Yeah, because it
Yeah, they're
has
like a
you
weird
can tell
square.
there it's a puzzle piece.
Yeah, it should too.
Yeah,
So
like
very, very, very weird. And then I wanted to touch on this. So just like a news thing is this was in the news for a little while though. Funko HQ. So the building's actually for sale,
yeah,
which is
saw that.
interesting. So they're going to be selling that. But then I was actually seeing that they do have a lease up until 2026.
Yeah,
So it
so they
seems
don't
like they're
even
still going
own
to
the
kind of,
building, so it
yeah,
doesn't
so
really
they're still going
matter.
to be there. So the fact that it's being sold doesn't necessarily mean that they're not going to be there anymore, I guess. I guess originally the news came out, everyone kind of thought like, oh,
That's what
they're
people thought.
leaving that area, but
There's
it
no
doesn't seem
way.
like that might be what's happening. So I know they have the new distribution center or whatever, but I'm sure they still have like the headquarters, and you can obviously visit or whatever it is that they have up there. And then kind of just tip on Celebration. So Star Wars Celebration tickets are going to be going on sale as well. So pay attention on Tuesday, March 15th, 9 a.m. Central Time, 12 p.m. Eastern Time. So if you're, interested in that, so that's going to be right before the Transformers drop. So it's a pretty busy
Yeah,
day
busy day.
for Charlie, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Just at least checking it out if we're going to Celebration. But
yeah. I wish I was
at
going to
least,
Celebration, not
yeah,
going, but I wish I was. Because Celebration's awesome.
nice. So that'll be pretty cool for anyone that is going. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of awesome stuff for that
It'll
specifically
probably be the greatest celebration in a
announced.
long time because they've definitely been holding back Star Wars news, and we're gonna get
Yeah.
tons of product. I feel like they're gonna announce tons of stuff there, and I
Yeah, you
think we'll
get all
probably
these
get
new
some
shows coming
all
out.
new
So you know
shows
that
and
they're
probably
gonna,
some surprise products.
yeah, which would be cool. Which like you said, I thought the sodas, that's what was when they would be announced, would be that, because that would be a huge like, wow, look, we finally got sodas. But maybe they'll just drop more during that, like
Yeah,
another wave or something. So that'll kind of still be exciting. But I think that was the majority of the news on my end. I don't know if there's anything that,
yeah. No, that's the majority of the news. The only one thing which has been interesting is the Bell Target Con. The VHS cover has been like finally going in and out of stock on target.com, and some people have been seeing it in their stores, but like it never actually came out when they said it was gonna to online. So it was weird.
yeah,
TargetCon started off, in my opinion, strong, and then it ended really weird with the staggering products that they didn't have for the first day.
yeah. It was a weird drop after we saw a couple missing. And I'm like, all right, maybe a week later or whatever, they'll just do a new drop of whatever it was. And they haven't. It's been, like you said, randomly stores are getting them, not all of
Because
them.
it's funny, I
And then
wanted
randomly
this
going on sale.
for my collection. It was giving me these like vibes that how the Comic-Con ones, the Cad Bane and the Pikachu, like never went online. Like they
Mhm.
like to this day, like they never did. Like if Sensei Serum didn't hook me up with that pop, I probably never would have gotten it. I would have had to buy it, like,
Yeah.
just
It,
on whatnot or what something, which is
it makes
crazy.
me think of like even the Carnage that was the New York Comic Con that got pushed back. Then it was a
Yeah.
share to Walmart. And then it took forever for me to get it. And then when I got it, it came with a Walmart sticker, which
Right.
wasn't even the con, because that was an actual thing that happened with certain ones that were left over. I don't know, whatever. But yeah, it was definitely a mess. So Target I mean, it's not surprising because we deal with this all the time, and
I
we
know.
they do something really good, and we're like, all right, that's cool. But then there's always this kind of moment where we're like, what's going on with the way that they're handling these things? And I think a lot of it is like a systematic thing because it happens where it's such a difference between their online platform and their in store,
Yeah.
and like the experience is unreal how like different it is. And I think that's just another thing on top of that. But that's going to be the news. So that's going to
Yeah.
be it for us here in the news segment. Again, that was from March 7th to March 15th. So the latest news, rumors. We'll come back at you guys next week with more news like we always do. Different weeks, we have different stuff. So this week was pretty good overall. I think it was a lot of stuff
Yeah, it was
that
a good
we're
news
into.
week. Not many like
Yeah.
crazy rumors, just concrete news, which was good.
Yeah, which is good because it's official. We're seeing pictures, we're seeing actual, Funko themselves. Like that's when it's legit. When the original Funko website is the one posting the Star Wars
Exactly.
sodas, you're like, okay, yeah,
I
these are
feel like
really
our
coming out,
crazy
and we know.
rumors may have gone
They
away
may
for
have
a little
dwindled out
bit.
a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll keep throwing them out there if we see something like that type of thing. We're like, all right, these sodas are gonna come out or whatever. Maybe we'll throw them at you guys. But otherwise, that's gonna be it for the week. This week's episode of the news. Thank you guys so much for hanging around. Again, I'm Miguel
I'm
and my
Charlie.
co-host Charlie. Take it easy, guys. Have a good one.
Bye, everyone.